evening. We'll call the council meeting in order. Please rise for a pledge of the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I ask you please remain standing for a moment of silence for all our military personnel serving abroad, also for all the tragedies that have happened over with California plane crashes. Too many to mention. Thank you.
Notice requirements of the open public meeting law have been satisfied concerning this meeting. The Home Distribution and the Star Ledger published it on January 10th, 2025. A copy of the schedule was posted on the municipal bulletin board. It should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Councilman Anderson.
Here.
Councilman Bauer.
Here.
Councilwoman De Jesus.
Here.
Councilman Ficarra.
Here.
Councilwoman Meehan.
Here.
Councilman Patel. Councilman Small.
Here.
Vice President McAuliffe.
Here.
And President Spiller.
Here.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from February 4th?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Mr. President, beginning with second reading ordinances this evening, we will take letters A and B by consent. Both are ordinances amending Chapter 7, which is the traffic section of our ordinances, and this is with regards to parking on Buns Lane in Woodbridge. Could I get a motion that these two ordinances be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letters A and B only.
I'm sorry.
Good evening, Council and Administration. On Ordinance A, can you give us a little bit more details other than Buns Lane between DeSoto Avenue and St. James Street Avenue to delete?
This would be the permit parking.
So there's restrictions right now in place. We're going to be deleting those restrictions, and then B would be the implementation of the residential permit parking.
All right, so when you delete them, is it handicap parking or what is it pertaining to?
So it's deleting the restrictions that are currently in place that are limited between 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. Saturday through Sunday. So they'll be deleted. It does not affect handicap parking, and then they'll be implemented with B, which will be residential permit parking.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
Any other questions or comments from the public? I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance to be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law.
Motion. Second.
Any questions or further comment from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Letter C is an ordinance authorizing a second modification of a lease for property at 101 Main Street. Could I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter C only. Hearing no comment from the public, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Final second reading on letter D, an ordinance adopting into the Garden State CPACE program. Could I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter D only.
Good evening, there. John Vertaric, Woodbridge. Actually, what is the C-Space program?
Council President, it's a method for businesses to finance environmentally friendly upgrades to their buildings.
I didn't quite get it. For what businesses?
It's a method for businesses to finance environmentally friendly upgrades to their buildings.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on letter D? Hearing no other comments, can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. First reading ordinances, you have letters E and F listed. Could I get a motion that these two ordinances be passed on first reading, published in the Home News Tribune on February 21st, 2025, with notice of public hearing to be held on March 4th, 2025 at 6 p.m.?
Motion. Second.
Any comments or questions from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. And finally, you have resolutions before you listed as 1 through 30. May I get a motion to approve 1 through 30 by consent?
Motion. Second.
Any questions or comments from council?
Mr. Mitch? I'll be
Yes.
abstaining from number 30.
So noted. Any other comments?
Mr. Mitch, please show I'll be abstaining on resolution number 11.
So noted. Any other comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitch. Before we go to the public comment portion of tonight's meeting, Mayor, I believe you have a statement to read.
Thank you, Council President. I would like to provide an update to the Sequest situation, which we are sure people are here tonight to talk about. The vast majority of the Sequest operation is under the jurisdiction of the state of New Jersey through the Department of Environmental Protection and the federal government through the United States Department of Agriculture. The township's only jurisdiction is with the farm animals, a pig, 2 goats, 3 rabbits, and 4 chickens, and the snack bar. At the request of residents over the last few months, the township has sent our health department out to the site to check on the condition of the farm animals, and we have also sent out our police department detectives to look for cases of abuse of animals by staff or visitors. In no cases have we found any evidence of such abuse. We also decided to engage the services of a professional veterinarian group for an independent evaluation of the conditions of the farm animals, and that vet went out yesterday with some township officials for a surprise visit and inspection. This effort produced the same result, that there was no sign of abuse of these animals, and the only condition noted was very common dermatitis on the pot-bellied pig, which was already being treated by the in-house veterinarian. We need to state once and for all that we have no reason to take any action against Sequest for their operations that we have jurisdiction over, which is only a very small portion of their total operation. Any such action would certainly subject us to potential legal action, given the fact that we cannot justify revoking the permit that we issued for the farm animals. Taking this a step further, we also have no inclination to pass an ordinance restricting certain businesses from operating in Woodbridge Township. Simply put, that would be a gross overreach of governmental authority and would also potentially subject us to legal action. It is not the job of government to tell Woodbridge Center or any other building owner who they can or cannot rent space to. As long as the business is legal and meets all requirements for building and zoning codes, which means it has enough parking and lighting and things like handicapped accessibility, then we should not be interfering with the private sector in deciding what businesses we will accept in town. Any ban on certain types of businesses would have to be handled at the state level. Banning any type of business would be an awful precedent and start a slippery slope that we would never recover from if we were to say that certain types of stores or shops or restaurants were not welcome in Woodbridge. Would we then tell the owner of a residential rental unit who he or she can rent space to? We completely understand the concerns of people who have been coming to our meetings. We especially respect the opinions and passion of our own Woodbridge residents like Ms. Paternoster and Ms. Mayer, who have been to almost every meeting. We are not defending Sequest, and frankly find many of the accusations that have been levied over the last several months to be disturbing and revolting, and we have no reason not to believe any of the speakers. However, we must protect the Township of Woodbridge from any actions that could be detrimental to our residents and taxpayers, and therefore we believe the steps we have taken to be appropriate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank you for the most recent update with anything that involves the township. We'll now go to the public comment portion of tonight's meeting. When approaching the microphone, please state your name, and what section of the township or state you live in, and you will have a one-time opportunity to speak up to 5 minutes. Also, no one needs to touch the microphone. The microphone is set. You will be heard. Thank you.
Jessica Mayer, Vivinetto Avenel. And I've been here before, and I'm not even going to really read this now. You see, we have a room of people here who have opinions of Sequest, and I understand what you're saying, that you can't revoke this permit, but we are not going to give up. We will continue to fight sequest. I'm going to continue to ask for your support in this. I have been here and talked to you about the animals being forced to interact with the public, the cruelty, the inadequate housing and husbandry, disease, the lack of vet records. Did anyone ask for any vet records on the animals they saw today? They should be seen by vets. Missing animals, illegal pedicures, unauthorized interactions, bankruptcy, government agencies issuing probation, and then their plan to revoke the exotic animals. The psychological damage that's done to these animals is unbelievable. And death. I've talked to you about death happening there. And we're not going to give up. And you see that there are a lot more people who need to talk with you tonight, so I'll turn this over to them.
Thank you.
John Ortenzio. I'm not here to talk about animals.
Excuse me, sir, I'm sorry. Just the area, the township, of the state that you live in, please.
John Ortenzio, Island,
Thank you.
Woodbridge resident, 11 years. Retired 7 years ago. Things got kind of tough with COVID. On a fixed income. Needed to get a job to put food on the table. I saw they were hiring crossing guards. I thought it would be something I would enjoy, and I do enjoy it. It's my 3rd year. When I started, I was told all the wonderful things about it. So, and I do enjoy it. I enjoy the children. But I'm on my 3rd year, and I'm still making $16 an hour. Now I hear there's people getting hired for 17. Some people are making 19. Some people are making 20. I'm trying to get a raise. I asked 2 weeks ago, my immediate supervisor. She said, let me ask the boss. She came back 5 minutes later. She said, the boss said there's no money for a raise. I work a 15-hour shift. If you would have given me 50 cents for the 15 hours for the week, it would have been $7.50 on your weekly payroll. Now, I don't know what the weekly payroll is here, but I guess I can't get to $17. I got a pay stub here, if anyone wants to see it. And then they take out $40 every paycheck for a pension, which I'll never see. I'm 78. I won't do this for 7 years. I'm trying to put food on the table, and I can't. Who do I talk to for a raise here? Anybody? 50 cents? A quarter?
Mr. Simulka.
Council President, so have you gone to HR? That's your,
I talked to Eunice.
okay, so you need to go to HR, and they'll address it. So we have a pay scale rate for crossing
Well,
guards.
Eunice told me I was
Yep.
at the rate I
Yep.
was supposed to be.
Yeah, so they're, what's that? What's your last name? I'm sorry.
Ortenzio, Ortenzio.
So yeah, so we have a rate, it goes by year and how many years you've been here. It's not in front of me now, so I can't speak to it. I wish I could.
If I started at $16 an hour and I'm
I got-
making $16.50, in 3
Understood.
years, I got 50 cents. I
Understood.
may as well get a shine box and look for bars to shine shoes. That's ridiculous. And then I'm hearing, I don't know if it's fact, but I'm hearing people are getting hired now at 17. Doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to ask you to make an appointment tomorrow after your shift and go to HR, and I'll meet you there.
I won't be there till after 10:30.
That's fine.
I
I'm
have
here
some
all day.
business. All right,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Just ask for Mr. Simulka, the business administrator.
Are there any other comments this evening from the public?
Nicole Paternoster, Avenel. So I do kind of want to just touch on what the mayor talked about, specifically a few things. The first being...
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Can you just hold? But
Yeah.
Stop the time.
Sure.
We can't have a line. Everyone will have their chance. Trust me, we do not have a line of people waiting. You will all have a chance to be heard if you so... I'm sorry. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Specifically, and this is in regards to animals, we talk about not being able to govern what people do in their business, but Is there not an ordinance in Woodbridge, 11.6.3, that restricts the sale of animals that do not come from an animal shelter facility or animal rescue organization? So did that not impact people's businesses in Woodbridge that were selling animals from breeders? So in fact, we have done things where we have impacted people's businesses, specifically when it comes to animals. As far as talking about ordinances are a slippery slope, well, Midland Park, New Jersey does not think it's a slippery slope. As a matter of fact, they have an ordinance that says no person shall keep or maintain any live poultry or fowl, even for non-commercial purchases, without first having license or permit, which I know we do. But all coops and runs shall be located outside of and completely apart from any building used wholly or in part for dwelling purposes in which people congregate or use as food or eating establishment. Pretty sure there's food at the mall last time I checked. So Midland Park has done that already. All the droppings shall be removed from each coop and buried, removed from the premises, or otherwise disposed in a manner approved by the Board of Health. Do we understand where all those droppings are going? Are they just being dumped at the mall someplace? With bird flu coming, I think we should be paying attention to where the droppings are coming. So Midland Park did do that. Let's see, Township of Union, New Jersey, also has an ordinance, funny. Regulation of animal exhibits, permits, where they have a huge list, 1 through 15, of what the permits. Now here in Woodbridge, we just get permits. We just give them out. You got a chicken? Here's a permit for you. You got a rooster? Here's a permit. In Union, they need the name, address, and phone number of all the owners, all the veterinarians caring for the animals, the breeds of the animals, vaccinations for all the animals. All staff members or anyone that has interactions with the animals need to show that they did a course in prevention of animal to human diseases. Statement that all staff members have had training on disease reduction. A diagram prepared by the owner or vendor, drafted to scale, showing the layout of the exhibit. We don't do any of these things in Woodbridge. Jersey City. It shall be unlawful for any person to cause or provide a performance of any exotic animal or on any public or private property within the city of Jersey City. And last but not least, I'll bring more in a couple weeks. I didn't have a lot of chance to prepare for this one. So this is Westville, New Jersey, sure. It shall be unlawful to keep animals such as wild animals, swine, pigs, sheep, goats, cattle, ponies, or horses as a domesticated pet or for the display or exhibition subject to subsection B. And what subsection B says is that animals can only be shown on a temporary level, no more than 7 days. They can be used in circus or carnival or parades, but not kept on exhibit for more than 7 days. So I have rewrote the ordinance since I heard it was not specific enough. It does exclude any type of farms that are already in place, animal rescues, but it does talk about the live poultry or waterfowl being housed within a food or eating establishment.
1 minute, I'm sorry.
Okay, the establishment of new indoor interactive animal facilities will be banned, and that it's unlawful to keep animals, wild animals, and then I do have subsection B, just as Westville, New Jersey does. So in order to allow people to have petting zoos here, but only for a short amount of time. So I do just want to say, I don't see this as a slippery slope since other towns are doing it, and this is just in New Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ryan Feldman, Bridgeton, New Jersey. The definition of animal cruelty is the infliction of suffering and/or physical, emotional, or psychological harm on animals, a violation of the basic principle that all living beings deserve kindness, respect, and protection from harm. In case you didn't know, humans are animals too. Please raise your hand if you are against animal cruelty. Commissioners, are you against animal cruelty? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you're against animal cruelty, or you're embarrassed because you know where this is going. No?
I'm going to speak for
Sequest.
all of us that we are all against animal cruelty. I'm not going to have to
Fantastic.
raise your hand. You can continue, please.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody, for being against animal cruelty. So, tonight I am here to talk about Sequest Woodbridge, where animals go to die, Mayor McCormick. Landing your pride and joy disgusting interactive aquarium on indefinite probation due to the deaths of over 100 animals as we know of since 2019. So, Mayor McCormick, do you understand that everything that you just said about finding nothing wrong at Sequest Woodbridge means absolutely nothing? Because 100 animals have died at Sequest Woodbridge since 2019, landing them on probation through New Jersey Fish and Wildlife. Do you understand that your words meant nothing?
If you
Excuse me,
listen
I'm sorry.
carefully,
Everything
I
goes
was
through
speaking.
Council President. If the mayor wants to
sorry.
answer a question through me, then that's up to him. But you have to direct all questions to the Council President.
Can
Sorry,
Mayor
Council
McCormick
President.
answer that, please?
I spoke specifically about 10 farm animals. We have no jurisdiction over any of the other animals, as I clearly stated.
Okay. There were 2 pigs who existed before George the pig did, and they're gone. And there were other chickens, silky chickens, who existed before the current chickens that are there, and they're gone. Does anyone know where they are? Because we filed OPA requests, and we didn't get anything back. No vet records, nothing. They don't exist. Anyone?
Our vet, as the mayor stated, I shouldn't say, not our, an independent veterinarian, however you say it, I can never say that word, went in and inspected all the animals that fall under our jurisdiction.
Sure.
Unfortunately, I know you're passionate, everybody is passionate. We don't have that answer because that's not our.
They don't, no, but the chickens and the pigs are your jurisdiction. I'm hearing that, and they don't exist. Those OPA requests don't exist. So I understand that there was a last-ditch effort to get an inspection done because you knew all of us were going to be here tonight.
That's incorrect.
No, okay, please explain.
The last ditch inspection was not planned because there are people might be coming. The last ditch inspection was not a last ditch inspection.
Okay.
We had said the last meeting we'll be looking into, and then once, last meeting it was that the Fish and Game revoked their permits. People asked us, what are we gonna do regarding our farm permit? We went out, did our due diligence, got an independent vet, they submitted a report, they looked at the animals that fall under our jurisdiction, just like the mayor said.
Okay.
Unfortunately, if there are no other animals there for the independent vet, I don't have an answer for you.
But that's your jurisdiction, isn't it, the farmed animals? But you're saying that you don't know why there aren't vet records for the farmed animals who have all disappeared. You're saying that you don't know why.
That's not what I said. What I said is, the
Okay.
independent vet went in and looked at all the animals yesterday, approximately 2 p.m., and the animals that fall under our jurisdiction were there, just like the
Okay,
mayor said.
where are the missing chickens and the pigs?
I have no knowledge about a missing chicken or a pig or whatever.
Who should I ask about that?
You could try Sequest, I'm sure you already have. There was nothing there except for what the independent vet looked and inspected.
Okay,
And it's not whatever, I don't mean that disrespectful, but there's nothing.
it's whoever.
It's,
It's whoever. Now, right now, you're being
sorry, one minute.
Sure. You're being presented with the opportunity to do the right thing. We are asking you, the Township of Woodbridge, to stand against animal cruelty, revoke the permits, and release the animals to rescues and sanctuaries. We did your work for you. We have rescues and sanctuaries standing by to take in the animals. My sanctuary in Bridgeton, New Jersey, Uncle Neil's home, is committing to George the pig, the one with dermatitis, as you said, Mayor McCormick. Sequest is an embarrassment to your town. They are bankrupt. You thought that they would make lots of money and be an asset, but it's failed. It is over. Roseville in Minnesota closed yesterday. There are 4 locations remaining, and we are asking you to do the right thing and close Sequest Woodbridge. The commissioners of Woodbridge Township and Sequest kill animals. You do. You kill animals, according to Fish and Wildlife in New Jersey. But now you have the chance to revoke the permits and stand against animal cruelties and release the animals to sanctuary, and we are asking for you to do just that. Will you reconsider? Will you reconsider? It's a question.
there's nothing to answer. Thank you.
I have some papers I want to give. Can I just pass
You
that
can,
up
yeah, you can do that when you're done speaking.
when I'm done?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to add to what Ryan said.
I'm sorry, can you just your name, area of the township, or state?
Michelle Granberg, Delran, New Jersey.
Thank you.
Hello. So I'm going to add to what Ryan said. You will have in your hands a list of rescues and sanctuaries who, as Ryan said, have already committed to taking specific animals. As Ryan said, we've done the work for you. Our group has direct experience with every sanctuary on this list. We can vouch for all of them as legitimate, trustworthy, nonprofit 501c3 organizations. Show of hands, perhaps, who on the council knows exactly what a sanctuary is? Right. Who knows the difference between a sanctuary, a zoo, a petting zoo, or aquarium? Who is honestly unsure of the difference? You can raise your hands in your head there. Just because I am familiar with what an animal sanctuary is, we don't want to assume that you are familiar. As a person who advocates for animals, meaning all species, for the past 10 years, I've been a regular volunteer at several local sanctuaries, including Ryan's. I highly recommend you visit as a transformative experience in the way you view farm animals. But I'd like to provide some well-intended, fact-based education. From the animal's perspective, there are numerous reasons why zoos and aquariums are unethical and cruel, including Sequest. The main reason is captivity. Captivity alone is often overlooked and not talked about enough. Show of hands, do you know why captivity is cruel? In captivity, animals, every normal natural need is denied. Every species and every individual animal has unique and complex physical, emotional, and social needs. These needs are basically ignored. They are denied the freedom to roam, forage, and interact with other animals, which are essential activities for thriving. You and I have freedom. Animals in zoos and aquariums do not. Moreover, they suffer from zoochosis, which is the constant, endless pacing in circles or back and forth. These behaviors stem from boredom, depression, frustration, lack of enrichment, isolation, and removal from their natural habitats, often resulting in self-harming and self-mutilation behaviors like biting themselves or biting cage bars or enclosures. By the way, I've personally interviewed a former zookeeper, zoo employee for a podcast, and he verified all of that is true. Can we imagine, even for a moment, switching places with them, swimming in a bathtub our entire lives, or being trapped within the same four walls for life? In contrast, sanctuaries are established solely with the animal's well-being in mind, not for human benefit. They are safe havens for animals who have endured the victimization of factory farming and other forms of exploitation and abuse. Animals are never seen as commodities to charge money to gawk at or items with price tags. True sanctuaries are not profit-driven or money-generating. They don't seek to get anything from the animals or force them to work or do anything. True animal sanctuaries are forever homes and are animals' only hope for living out their full natural lives. Every farm animal meets the same fate, bred into captivity, a short life of suffering, ending in slaughter, unless they are in sanctuary. In sanctuary, animals are allowed to live out their lives with autonomy over their own bodies. They are not used or abused in any way. Sanctuaries are typically open to the public for visits and are transparent with their treatment and care of the animals.
One minute, I'm sorry.
I'm almost done. Sanctuaries are part of the animal rights movement, yet they are a standalone, real, organized grassroots movement in and of themselves. I'm going to skip to the closing because I run out of time. But in closing, the animals within Sequest are in danger. They are at risk for being sold at auction or sold to another captivity for entertainment situation. If you can do something to intervene, why not do whatever you are empowered to do and go the extra mile? This is their last and only chance to live a happy life. Once they're gone, they're gone. Please surrender the animals to sanctuary. It's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public this evening?
Mr. Mitch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Celeste Cano, Colonia.
Thank you.
This is a different topic, so I don't want if anybody else needs to make a comment. Let's see,
Oh, no,
I don't
you're
want to
fine.
cut.
You're good.
That's okay? All right. Also, I have handouts and for the council, so I
Afterwards,
give
yes,
that
please.
afterwards. Okay,
Thank
fine.
you.
Again, my name is Celeste Cano, retired reading specialist from Colonia Middle School, so this is familiar here. I am also a climate reality leader and volunteer for numerous environmental organizations. I'm here to request that the council adopt a resolution in support of the New Jersey Climate Superfund Act to offset the financial burdens of climate change on our township. I have discussed the bill with the Woodbridge Environmental Commission at their meeting last Thursday. They were very receptive. Modeled after similar legislation passed in New York and Vermont, the New Jersey Climate Superfund Act applies the logic of the original Superfund Act, which requires polluters to pay to clean up their contaminated sites. This bill would hold fossil fuel extractors and refiners that do business in New Jersey and are responsible for more than 1 billion tons of greenhouse gas pollution since 1995, liable for damages for their share of the cost of climate change in New Jersey. It's estimated that New York's Climate Superfund law will raise $3 billion of compensatory payments for these polluters annually for the next 25 years. It's not unreasonable to estimate that New Jersey's law could raise $2 billion annually. Under the Act, municipalities will be able to recover costs for climate change adaptation projects. Payments are distributed in grants for such projects as flood protection projects, home buyouts, upgrades of stormwater drainage systems, defensive upgrades to roads, bridges, railroads, and transit systems, which would provide service in case of storms, flooding, and other natural disasters. Supporting this bill will not involve any financial or legal risk to municipalities. In fact, this legislation will create thousands of jobs, making it a win-win for the state's economy. Then the New Jersey Climate Superfund Act has passed the New Jersey Senate Environment and Energy Committee on December 12th, I was there, and now has 26 co-sponsors in the House and Senate. And as New Jersey state climatologist David Robinson has said, while we need to slow the train of climate change, we must also become more resilient to these changes. The costs of climate change remediation and adaptation are increasing yearly, and New Jersey residents have been paying for these costs for years. In relation to Woodbridge Township, I have reviewed Thomas Flynn's detailed floodplain management plan. For some areas throughout Woodbridge Township, the flood mitigation programs being evaluated range anywhere from 100,000 to 100 million over a 1 to 5 year time span. So as you can see, these estimated costs are enormous, and they will increase each year. In 2022, the 7 major fossil fuel companies earned profits almost twice the estimated damages caused by their emissions that year. $497 billion in profits, resulting in $260 billion in damages. It's time that these companies pay to clean up their mess. Woodbridge Township has won many Sustainable New Jersey awards. Very proud of that. And the people who live here, like me, care about preserving the environment. We can, again, lead the way. So I'm urging to stand, please, with the Woodbridge Township residents and adopt this resolution at your next meeting in support of the New Jersey Climate Superfund Act. Please share a copy of your endorsement with elected representatives. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other comments this evening?
Thank you very much.
This is more information.
Okay.
This is the actual resolution.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Lundgren.
Paul Lund, Hope Lawn. Show of hands. How many people think aborting a human baby right up till birth for any purpose or any reason is just and appropriate? That's not my hand going up. I just want to see who was going to be foolish enough to raise their hand. I'll repeat it. How many people think aborting a human baby right up till birth, which is allowed in New Jersey for any reason, is unjust and improper? Interesting. Secondly, last time we were here, Mr. Mayor, I asked him a question about having an independent auditor come in, take a look at the way there might be some cost cutting or savings, very much like DOJ is doing on a federal level. Your response, as I recall, was we don't need any outsiders telling us what to do. I'd like elaboration on what you mean by outsiders telling us what to do. Also, I want to know, is O'Connor, who's been doing the audits on the regular because of law, is he an outsider or are they independent? So 2 questions. What did you mean by outsiders telling you what to do? And is O'Connor indeed an outsider, independent, and able to do this audit independently and without any compulsion to please the administration?
An outside,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mayor.
an outsider is anybody who doesn't work for the township, and O'Connor, the firm, are financial auditors, not operational auditors. Now, we have a pretty functional government. For example, our police department is evaluated every 3 years by the Commission for the Accreditation of Law Enforcement Agencies. They go through everything every 3 years in the township, every policy, every practice, every procedure, every piece of paper. We get flying colors every single time. We have other towns ask us to handle cases in their towns. So starting with the biggest department in town, the police department, I don't think anybody can come in and give us any advice on our police department when we have the best police department in the state of New Jersey. Number 2, the Public Works Department. If there's a better one in the state, I haven't seen it. George Brew handles emergencies in other towns. Other towns are constantly asking us for equipment, for our manpower. When Sayreville flooded, we sent 50 trucks out during Sandy, crossing the turnpike, the Parkway Bridge, and saved the town. Other towns look to us for their help. Our health officers, our tax collectors, our tax assessors, our CFOs all work for other towns. When we're the best around, I don't see anybody with the experience to possibly come in and tell us how we can do a better job. That's just my opinion. I think we're the best town around. I've been saying it for 18 years. I firmly believe it. DOJ is laying off air traffic controllers after 5 crashes in the last month.
That's not accurate,
DOJ is
sir.
laying off forestry
Administrative
workers
bureaucrats
after
who
the
are not-
wildfires.
The mayor's talking, do not interrupt. The mayor
DOJ is recommending laying off forestry
Excuse me.
officials.
5 minutes out.
The mayor's
He's
speaking.
answered my question and gone well
Okay.
beyond into the realm of untruth.
You don't have a
I
chance
have
to
a
ask
right
2
to
questions
counter that.
and then interrupt the mayor. He's answering your question.
No, he's not. He's going off on political tangents.
DOJ is hardly a role model for what we should be doing in
Woodbridge.
Woodbridge.
Now, my question is, all I'm saying
Excuse
is...
me, you can direct all questions through me.
Fine. I
I'm the
will,
council
Mr.
president.
President, right
I will
at you.
detail what happens next.
I would like to know if there's any possibility that an outside firm, if it was paid for by outside, would it do any harm to see if there's any way to cut costs?
Thank you.
Are there, and also part 2 of that question, is it possible that we can downsize 10% or start to let some of the people go and still be able to be the best around? And lastly, you've held the line, you said 1 year, maybe 2 years in the
1 minute,
last 10
sir.
on taxes. And my question is there any reason we can't find a way to cut taxes to the folks who've been paying the burdens all these many years? I've been a homeowner in this town, my parents before me, I've been since '89. My taxes have more than tripled for a 3-bedroom ranch. So you can't tell me you've been holding the line as well as you could possibly be holding the line, and that there's no other possibility for cost savings. Would you entertain an outsider being willing to do it at their costs, do a little bit of investigation on how we could save money in the township?
I believe the mayor has already answered that
No,
question.
the answer is no.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Long.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
Good evening again, Tom Maris, Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Evening.
Just want to say I'm very impressed with the number of people that are here tonight, and I hear your causes, and I'm so grateful you come out. I just wish you were here many other times at these town council meetings, because it's not just about animals. It's about a lot of other things, or the environment. And it goes on every 2 weeks. And I wish you'd show up so you can express your opinions when you're talking about building in this township, education in this township, DEI, the school systems. It all happens here. And you should be here. So I'm, again, grateful that you're here. I'm an animal lover. And as the mayor and the council will tell you, I've had many arguments with him, and we come to a lot of good things to help save cats, dogs, neuter and release within this township because of the efforts that went forward. And they have been responsible, and I hope they will be within the realms that they can be, because they are also bound by law. And unless those laws change at the state level, and there's one of the people right there on the dais that can help make that happen. He's the head of the assembly. Send that stuff to him. He can change the state laws, or help change them. Just note that. But because I only have maybe 4 minutes left, if I can squeeze it all in real quick, I'm just going to throw out some questions about what's happening. You know, we keep hearing that all these departments are going to help us bring down the taxes. I don't see that happening. People are here tonight complaining about the taxes. Where is all that money gone from the tax revenues that we're supposed to get from the tax abated apartments, by the way? There's more apartments coming on Fulton Street. How many? And who's behind that? I'd really like to know who from the inset, and I think it's been going on for several years in that development. And I know that I believe Mr. Peter Mercantile, who's also had his hand in a lot of the big developments going on here, may have had, or just still has, a interest in that development. I'd like to, before I forget, congratulate Director Hubner and Assistant Director Joe Niski on Director Hubner's retirement coming up. So this is perhaps my last chance in a forum to say that to you. You've been great. You've done a lot. Our police department is one of the best in the state. And I thank you. You've always been very responsive. And I know Joe is great. His son is a Marine. He's also on the force. And I know they will do an outstanding job. As far as the animal groups are concerned, again, I just go back to that for a minute. Perhaps the town has passed ordinances in the past where they limit homeowners to the number of animals that they might have within that dwelling, whether it be 5 dogs, 5 cats, or whatever. Is there anything they could do along those lines that could say a business in town can only have so many animals on this property at one given time? And with that, I'll just turn it back over and hope you'll come up with some answers.
Thank you, Mr. Maris. First, thank you for your kind words regarding Director Hubner. I believe there is something regarding commercial businesses and the amount of animals that they can have in the ordinance. I thought, no, depending on what the business is.
I'd have to look at
We'd
that.
have to look. We can definitely look into it and get back to you. I think the taxes, as the mayor said, and we said the 2 meetings ago with the budget, correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor, 2 years ago, the tax was a 0 increase. Or 3 years ago, 2 years ago, it was 0 increase. $50 tax levy last year, I believe, correct? I'm wrong?
That's accurate. Over 3 years, the 50 some odd dollars, an average of $20 a year for the last 3 years.
So,
And as for taxes from 1989 to now, I mean, that's 30 some odd years.
Anything else?
I thought I covered everything, Mr. Maris. I'm not sure if I missed anything.
No. I do have one other, if I can still have time in it. Where does the township actually stand now, in the past and present, when it comes to DEI policies?
Well, are you talking about the school district or?
Even hiring within within the township? Did you not have policies, DEI policies about hiring?
That would fall, Mr. Sewell?
We don't have a DEI policy. We use fair hiring practices set by the State Labor Board.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maris.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
She's been trying to get up forever. Okay.
Hello, Mr. President. Ken Gardner, 101 Scoter Avenue, Woodbridge.
Evening.
As far as the budgeting goes, I admire the mayor's being proud of our township. It's the best town around, he says frequently. I grew up in Woodbridge. I do think it's a great town and does a lot of great things. But it's the town council's responsibility to review the budget every year. I believe the mayor started in 2007, and I'm sure of that time that he's, developed some good programs.
2006.
2006, I was a year off, I'm sorry. But regardless, it's a long period of time, and I really think that the council should consider starting a zero-based budgeting approach to the budget. It's time to go back to ground zero, to look at every single item that's in the budget. Some of you have been here for a few years, some longer. So, maybe there's programs you forgot about. I think it's time to go for a zero-based budgeting approach. By doing so, and with the number of pilot dollars that we've received in the last several years, many people thought this pilot program was going to be good for the town. It's going to bring money into us. We were going to see a tax cut because of everything that's happening. It's time for a tax cut in Woodbridge. I have my property tax bills here, and my taxes have not gone down. In fact, they've increased each year. So we read about the team effort that the council's part of, and the McCormick team, and all of the various branches of government that we deal with. And the way the pilot program works is when the money comes in, 95% of the money goes to the town, 5% goes to the county, no money goes to the school district automatically, no money goes to the fire district automatically, 5% I believe goes to the county. So it is a team, and our taxes have increased. I think my taxes in the last 3 years, Councilwoman McCall has been here for 3 years, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think my tax bill's gone up about 10% in the last 3 years. Now, I understand this is the town council meeting. I understand this is the town council and you're in charge of the town budget. But we constantly see the McCormick team, the McAuliffe team, the council team, all of these different branches of government. And with the pilot program, maybe if we gave them the proper percentage of money out of the pilot program, maybe there would be a tax decrease. The fire district in particular, I think, Mr. Mitchell, I don't know if you could correct me if I'm wrong, you were in charge of the election over there. Did the budget pass for the fire district?
Results aren't final yet.
Right, so the budget passed there, or there's a good enough margin. I know there's still a couple votes coming in from the mail-ins and things like that. But, that's going to be another increase for us. Now, our fire district has got several new buildings. I think there is over 1,100 new apartment units within a half mile of one another, but the fire district is not receiving any money. Mayor has, or Mr. President, through you to the mayor, has the fire district received any pilot money at all?
Council President, Mr. Gardy, you've heard us talk about pilots over and over again. You just don't understand how they work. First of all, nobody ever said pilot monies would be used to lower taxes, ever. Second, you know that the school district is not hurt by pilots. They get the tax levy that they need to run the school district 100%. The fire districts are the same. They set their levy, they send us the bill on the A4F form, we put it in the system, and we send them the exact amount they need. If we have 100 pilots or no pilots, it has no impact on what they do. They get what they need. I don't know how you could not know this when you've come to meetings and you just don't understand that the fire districts and the school board are not hurt by pilots. They get the levy they need every single year.
I asked if the fire district has received any pilot money.
They don't by law. You even said the county gets 5%, the town gets 95%, and then you asked the question, and when you just answered it yourself.
Have you given the school district any pilot money, Mr. Mayor?
We basically pay the school district's debt service on projects.
Okay.
And that's a good thing we do. It's been over almost $200 million over a 10-year period, and they've built a new Ross Street School. They've built extensions on School 25 and School 28, a practically new Woodbridge Middle, a practically new School 5. They're going to build a brand new School 4. We're going to build a new School 10. We don't give them pilot monies. We share our budget revenues with them, and it's worked very well for us.
The fire district is just purchased a new ladder truck, Mr. President. and the town should pay for that out of the pilot money. The fire district has not received any pilot money.
Your
The
5
mayor
minutes
just
are
said
up.
the
Thank you,
school
sir.
district did receive it. And we do have. if we
That's
go
for the
through
third
zero-
time. Your 5 minutes are up. Thank you, sir.
What about the time that the mayor used of my 5 minutes?
Part of a give and take. Thank you. Have a good night.
Council President,
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to add, 15 years ago, when the mayor came up with the proposal to bring in the single-arm garbage trucks. And there were a lot of people that were very dead set against it because it was going to lay off a lot of men that worked for the sanitation department. One of the things that you see is a reduction in the disability claims, because when men are jumping on and off that garbage truck, a lot of knees and hips and all of those things add up, and it costs the township a lot of money. And there were people that were against that. However, we're 15 years into this, and you see a trash container coming down our street, and one person is operating that, and it's very efficient. That was one area. We also secured money from the county for Open Space Fund to preserve Colonia Country Club. That was one of the first things that I was a part of when we came in here. This is very responsible government by our mayor, by our council. Had that been developed, the infrastructure that would have been required, the schools that would have had to have been built. We are developing some areas in Woodbridge Township, some areas that can be developed that it makes good sense to develop. However, there are plenty of opportunities that this council looks at our budget, as we do every year, and think of areas and bring that up, and we back and forth we send comments to our administration asking if everything that we're doing makes the most sense for our township and makes the most sense for our residents. I think one of my biggest responsibilities is to ensure, because we live here too, and I want my children to be able to buy a home here, is to make sure that we're fiscally responsible, and that we're making sure that Woodbridge grows properly. And, I just want you to understand that everyone on this dais, we do hold our administration and our mayor accountable for any of the growth that we experience here in Woodbridge Township. So just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson.
Council President, just
Yes,
to
sir.
expand on Councilman Anderson's comments, you were very accurate. One of the things the mayor did do is the fact that no one lost their jobs through layoffs. Everyone in that program either were retired through attrition or transferred to other departments. So not one employee lost their job, and we saved the taxpayer millions of dollars. Thank you.
Are there any other comments this evening from the public?
Just one point of clarification for the next speaker. A resident might come up and say, my taxes went up, and I'm sure that's possible, but there's 5 things on a tax: municipal, county, fire district, school district, and library. So if anybody were to say, I looked at my taxes and my taxes went up, just make sure you look at every itemized line item to make sure exactly what agency you're referring to when you say your taxes went up. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
My name is Jignasha Aduria. I'm from Piscataway, New Jersey. I have additional questions regarding Sequest. So based on the complaints and the lack of vet records, clearly the animals were not receiving proper vet care prior to the Sequest bankruptcy hearing on January 31st of this year. Now that Sequest has admitted that they only have 2 more weeks left of available funds in order to provide for necessary animal care, what is the township's plan on ensuring the safety for the animals that fall under their own USDA license? Please keep in mind that the 2-week period of Sequest saying they will run out of funds is now over with. With that being said, what is the township's plan for the animals that are unregulated, such as lobsters? What can Woodbridge do, if anything at all, to make sure the animals are not starved to death or dying of illnesses that are treatable? Is Woodbridge going to allow Sequest to get more animals under their permits or unregulated species after New Jersey Fish and Wildlife removed the exotics?
Thank you. As has been said already this evening, the animals that fall under the township's farm permit, for lack of not having the right phrase, they were inspected by an independent vet yesterday, and with the exception of the potbelly pig, all animals appear to be safe and okay. Can't comment, I can't, or nobody can comment on any other animals that do not fall under the authority of the township. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the public?
It's fine, it's fine. We'll hear you. Thank you.
Hello.
Yep.
Jeffrey Wisniewski, Patterson, New Jersey. All right, so it's my understanding that these are the following species that the Township of Woodbridge has responsibility for. So the list starts with domestic rabbit, domestic guinea pig, domestic pigs, two-toed sloths, flying squirrels, small clawed otters, exotic cats, cat hybrids, keel-billed toucans, blue and yellow macaws, blue and gold macaws, red and green macaws, and green-winged macaws. Rose-breasted cockatoo, other kinds of cockatoos, domestic ducks, all domestic breeds of cockatiel, common parakeets, domestic chickens, hens and roosters, domestic goats. Is that correct? Who can I direct my question to about animals?
I'm sorry, I understand what you said. The question is, I'm sorry, John?
Just gonna have the gentleman to my right, he's can't film this.
I'm sorry. Stop the time, please. Sir, if you want to record, you have to be in the box within the blue. Otherwise, you don't have to record. You can sit there. You want to record, you need to be in the blue box.
Do you want to move over here so you can record it?
Right over there.
Okay, thank you. I understand what you said. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, you came in a little bit late. The animals that were inspected by the independent vet were 4 chickens, 2 goats, 1 potbelly pig, and 2 rabbits. That's what that is. I'm sorry, that is what was there yesterday on the inspection.
Okay, and all these other species are also under the responsibility of the Township of Woodbridge in this town, is that correct?
I believe so. I don't have the ordinance right in front of me.
Okay, so any of those animals that would be at Sequest Woodbridge would be under the town's responsibility? All right, and it's also my understanding that the Township of Woodbridge acts as a liaison between Sequest and the New Jersey Department of Agriculture, is that correct?
I don't know what you mean by liaison. You said liaison, you said 2 different entities. You said Sequest and then you said Fish and Game, I believe.
So there are inspections on the Sequest Woodbridge location, is that correct, for the animals?
Who's they?
Are there inspections of the animals at the Sequest Woodbridge location?
We just had an inspection yesterday
Okay, so that's a yes.
of the farm animals that fall under the
All right,
permit for the
and
township.
the Township of Woodbridge also has the power to revoke or continue the permit of Sequest Woodbridge, correct?
Incorrect.
Could you explain?
You just answered. I answered you. You asked a broad statement if we can just go in there and revoke a permit. That's not our purview. If you want to say
Okay,
we have
so-
a capability or ability to look into the permit that is issued by the township, then the answer to that would be yes, we do have that ability. And we did that yesterday by doing the inspection, by having the vet come and do the independent inspection.
Okay, so you do have the power to revoke the permit for Sequest Woodbridge then?
Talk about the township permit,
The township permit, yes.
the farm permit. There's several different permits. That's why I want to make sure we're all on the same, that you and I are on the same page.
Yeah, do you have the power to revoke any of those permits?
I believe, not unless, I'm sorry.
No,
All right.
just the farm animal permit, as you said, there's 10 farm animals. That permit, all the other animals that this gentleman mentioned, other than hens and roosters, which are farm animals, but they're not there now, all those other macaws and all those things, they have nothing to do with the township permit. They're not under our jurisdiction.
All right, I have another question. What is the update regarding the September 2024 USDA inspection that cited the bird plan was not vet approved?
I would probably recommend you direct that question to the USDA.
And what is the update regarding the May 2024 USDA inspection that noted the toucans' food at Sequest Woodbridge was infested with fruit flies and that the food must be free of contamination for the health of the birds?
Same thing, I would recommend you direct that question to the USDA.
Okay, you don't have that information? Okay, who has the list of living and deceased animals at Sequest Woodbridge? I'm assuming the township can provide that information under the USDA license.
Thank you, your time's up.
Can you answer the question, please?
Time's up, thank you, sir.
Any other comments from the public?
Yeah, Sean O'Neill, 127 Walnut in Metuchen.
How are you?
And I just wanted to let you know that I feel that you could have, and you still can, pass an ordinance banning exhibits of animals in your town, and that Sequest would be in no position to sue you, sue the town at this point, considering they're bankrupt and everything else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public?
Nirvan Agarwal, Edison, New Jersey. As many know, Sequest is advertised as a place for children to be in, but just 2 weeks ago, I went to Sequest myself to see what children would really enjoy. The second that we went through the door, the stench of rotting feces and decaying material straight hit my nose, meaning that it wasn't kept in a tidy place as it should be. I could see that the fish tank's water was green from mold and mildew, and I'm sure this poses a potential risk for health of people and the animals, as bacteria can be dangerous for kids as well as the fish inside the tanks. Let's move on to squirrels. Squirrels are normally, as you can see outside, active and moving anywhere from 5 to 10 miles a day. But when they're stuck in a cage that's less than a few square feet, they cannot get anywhere near that activity. On top of that, squirrels can forage and look for nuts, seeds, and fruits, meaning that they get some entertainment and also nutrition for their body, which is not found in Sequest, as they're being fed feed that has artificial vitamins and GMO products. Parrots, who can fly anywhere from 6 to 12 miles a day, are stuck in a glass room less than a few hundred square feet, going back and forth, which, as people have stated prior, can cause zoonosis. Then reptiles, who normally are very active hunting prey, are stuck in small cages with artificially painted backgrounds, being fed fake food, as all the animals are. And on top of that, herbivorous animals like rabbits, goats, pigs, and chickens should not be in an aquarium, and they should not be fed the kind of food they're being fed at the moment, as that food is not natural for them, and an overdose of that food can cause potential health issues. And as people have stated, hundreds of animals have died within the past 6 years at Sequest. This brings me to ask you, what do you think of the information I've shared with you today? In my mind, the analysis that Sequest is not only a depressing place for the animals to be in, it also has many concerns for the human and animals' health. Why would someone want to go there, and why would kids want to go there? Well, if kids like watching animals up close, there are hundreds of animal sanctuaries in New Jersey that kids can go to, as a sanctuary owner is present with us today, and she can give you more information about that. And as others have stated, Sequest is filing for bankruptcy, which pose as a risk to the township of Woodbridge, as it is occupying a precious space and could also bring down the value of Woodbridge Township. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everyone. I want to thank you, young man, very well spoken,
Yeah.
and thank you for sharing your passion.
Great job.
Any other comments from the public?
Hello, Carol Jong from Metuchen. I just have a couple other questions about Sequest. As the young woman stated before, 100 animals have died since their opening. So clearly animal negligence is nothing new to them when it comes to a non-sustainable business like Sequest. So my first question is, if a visitor there sees a violation of animal treatment, how would Woodbridge Township like that person or visitor to handle it?
Thank you. So unless I speak out of turn,
I couldn't hear, I'm sorry, Council President.
If it involves a farm animal, you can certainly let us know. Any other animal, you probably should call the DEP or the USDA.
if it's our township, the health department would be the start,
Right.
or the mayor's office, either or.
Okay, but that's only the domestic animals, is that right?
If anybody, I'm sorry, if anybody walks in, and we've done this before, we've gotten complaints, whether it's one of our animals, whether it's a Sequest animal, whether it's a USDA, whether it's a Fish and Game. If anybody ever sees any type of problem, they can certainly notify the health department of the township. We'll send our health department there, and they've done it in the past. They've notified Fish and Game on complaints and issues that they've seen.
Okay. And my second question is that Sequest has had roach infestations in the past, so are inspections done regularly to make sure such a problem does not arise again?
On roaches, you said?
Yes.
That wouldn't fall that.
If we get a complaint, they're done at cleanliness intervals, so they no longer have a food concession. We used to do that on a regular basis for their food concession license. They no longer requested that license.
So you're saying if they no longer sell food, then there's no longer any sort of issue with roaches?
I believe we're saying there's not an issue with roaches, but if they have a food concessions license, we'd be going there for.
We've never heard that complaint before.
It's on record for 2020.
Excuse me. Go ahead, man.
Those are my two questions.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments this evening?
Tanks and cages. Okay. Tanks and cages are no place for any animal to be in. Pulling its beautiful, innocent, sentient creatures from their natural habitats where people can point fingers at them, laugh, and entertain themselves is unacceptable. I know if that was me, I would absolutely hate it. If this is an exploration experience, you really have your priorities backwards. The world needs more compassion, more empathy, more love. Holding animals against their will is none of the above. Do better. Woodbridge Township.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Ashley Hartwick of Highland Park. So I'm here as well to talk about the Sequest animals. The first question
I'm sorry. Just at the time, I need you to put the mic back into the.
I'm sorry.
The mic is set. Everyone will be heard, whether you're 2 foot tall or 6 foot tall. Thank you. Just let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Thank you.
Okay, so my first question is, there was someone who asked a question a little bit earlier, and I don't think he was able to finish it. I'm worried that you can't hear me. So he asked, does anyone have the records of the animals that have died? Do you guys have it? And if you do have it, how would we be able to see it?
So anything that would fall under purview, you're more than welcome to file an Oprah request.
Okay. Would it be by an Oprah request or a different way?
It would be by an Oprah request.
We don't, though.
I'm sorry, sir.
We don't have those records.
No.
Okay. My next question is, when you spoke earlier about the permit, the township permit, sorry, I don't mean to scream, but
I have it here. I was stupid once and I didn't wear earmuffs to the
it's
range, so
okay.
that's not you. I just can't
It's
hear.
okay. So when it comes to the township permit, I think there was a little bit of talk earlier about well, we can't just revoke it for no reason, but you do have the power to revoke it. And I was wondering what that would look like, what it would take, what the process would be if you did start developing an interest in revoking that permit.
The township, health department, whomever, if we get a complaint, we'll investigate it.
Okay.
And if we find issues under our purview,
Right.
then they can face revocation, just like any other permit that would be issued from any department from the township, provided we do not go and just spot inspect on a blue. I'm not talking about a business that gets complaints. We just don't go in and say, you have your 1-year inspection, where you have your one-time renew every year, and now we're just going to come in. We would get a complaint, and then depending upon what we saw, they could face revocation.
Have there been any instances that either you can think of or maybe someone else can think of in the past that certain things have been enough for you to say, do you know what, we're going to proceed ahead and revoke this permit?
In terms of revoke, no, because anything that has been approached to us, whether it's under our purview or not, we have gone and sent inspectors and/or a vet, and there's been nothing found on our end, meaning what we govern.
Okay. Another question that I have for you as well is, I saw earlier someone who is a sanctuary owner was here. I wasn't able to get here in time to hear what she said, but I think she probably asked for the farmed animals to be released to sanctuaries. Is that something you might consider at this time, kind of bringing things towards the farmed animals being released to sanctuary?
We don't know.
Not at this time, because we had our independent investigation yesterday, and there was nothing that warranted to us to arbitrarily, which we can't.
Right.
I mean, there's not any one of us up here that wouldn't love to see every single one of those animals in somebody's sanctuary, in somebody's home.
Right.
And we've said it, I'm not saying trying to repeat it, we've said it over and over again. We don't want to see those animals there. We don't. However, we don't have the authority unless something is presented to us to just go in and say, that's it. You're
I
closed,
gotcha.
taking the animals. Or I'd love to give every animal to a sanctuary or an adopt or whatever it might be, or let loose in the field.
Well, not let loose, but yes, I get what you're saying.
Fly away or
Right.
go to the ocean, whatever it is.
Right.
Unless there's something, we don't have that authority.
And then I have one last question for you. This is just something I don't understand, so I was hoping maybe you could clarify what this means. So it said that NJDEP sent a letter saying the department has constructively seized all regulated animals possessed by Sequest. What does that mean for them to constructively seize them? Does it mean that they've taken the animals, or does it mean that the animals are still there but under someone else's authority?
So
Council President, you would have to ask them. I don't know what their terminology is, so that's under their purview.
Under their purview, meaning the DEP?
The DEP.
Okay.
Yeah. If they issued that letter, that would be under their purview, those animals.
Do you, setting aside their terminology, do you have any of your own knowledge about not just the animals that were inspected, but the others? Were they taken somewhere else or anything of that nature?
We do not.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I appreciate the way you interact with us. I think it's very courteous, and I feel very respected, which is not always the case in these meetings. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
Hello, Maria Ivanova, Highland Park. I have a question about Sequest. It's known that Sequest provided a procedure called fishy kisses or fishy pedicure. During this procedure, people put their feet in water where fishes can suck dead skin of the feet and legs. This procedure is cosmetic in its nature.
Bless you.
And we know that it's illegal for someone who doesn't have a license to provide cosmetology procedures. We know that Sequest didn't have cosmetology license. So it's illegal for them to provide cosmetology procedures. Next, human-animal contact is the reason for zoonotic diseases. People can transmit illnesses to animals, and animals can transmit illnesses to people. So whenever an interaction between humans and animals occurs, there should be a government body regulating such acts. Will the mayor and council help us find out who oversees the legality of this procedure? USDA, NJ Department of Agriculture, Fish and Game, and the Cosmetology Board said that they don't oversee this. It seems like every government agency doesn't want to take accountability for an attraction that is open to the public. Being this is happening in your township, why does the Department of Health not saying anything about this? Zoonotic diseases are on the rise now, and why there is no one who who sees this as human health issue?
Thank you.
Council President, I think I can try to unravel that. So as far as the fish pedicures, pedicures fall under the Division of Cosmetology. They do not possess a cosmetology license, so it falls under Fish, Game, and Wildlife. It's a state statute, so they would have to enforce that statute.
Okay, but they, before that, they said that they don't oversee this. So can we expect that in future that they will take accountability?
As Mr. Simulica said, this has been brought before us before. We forwarded the information. It's not the township. I don't mean to say it's not township. That's the entity that controls that, governs it, I should say.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
You just want to hand something out? Sorry? Oh, you just want to hand something in? Yeah. All right, that's fine. All right, thank you.
Good evening, members of Town Council. My name is Nisha Menon, and I reside in Somerset, New Jersey. I'm here tonight to express my deep concern about the presence of any business or organization within Woodbridge that contribute to animal exploitation, abuse, or neglect. We all value community, compassion, and education. Allowing animal abusers to operate within Woodbridge directly contradicts with these values. The very idea that animals could be mistreated within the community is deeply disturbing. Animal abuse is not just a moral issue, it's a matter of public safety. Studies have shown a strong correlation between animal cruelty and other forms of violence. Individuals who abuse animals are more likely to engage in other criminal activities, posing a potential risk to our residents. We don't want our town to be a place that harbors such individuals. Furthermore, businesses and organizations with a history of animal abuse often attract negative attention. Protests, boycotts, and negative media coverage can damage the town's reputation and deter potential visitors and businesses from coming here. This can have economic consequences for our community. We have a responsibility to protect vulnerable animals and ensure the safety and well-being of our residents. I urge the Town Council to take the following actions. Pass the proposed ordinance in front of you, what I have passed around. While you have heard tonight why you should revoke the license of Sequest, this ordinance will prevent you and the residents of Woodbridge from having to deal with these organizations and companies in the future operating in your town. There will be clear guidelines for what type of companies in the future operate in your town. There will be welcome in your town and what Woodbridge and the community at large should stand for. Implement a thorough vetting process. require any businesses or organizations seeking to operate in our town to disclose any history of animal welfare violations. This should include background checks and reviews of past incidents. Thirdly, and lastly, encourage community reporting. Establish a clear and accessible process for residents to report suspected animal abuse. Ensure that these reports are taken seriously and are thoroughly investigated. Once we prevent organizations from abusing and exploiting animals in our community, we can find educational alternatives. For instance, the Newark Museum of Art has a popular interactive exhibit called Sketch Aquarium. In this exhibit, visitors can create their own sea creatures by coloring templates, which are then scanned and brought to life in a digital aquarium. Also, there are nature centers which rehabilitate wild animals across the state, which give individuals of all ages a chance to understand more about the habitats of these animals, along with learning how to help reintroduce these animals back to nature. We must send a clear message that animal abuse must not be tolerated in our town. By taking these steps, we can create a safer, more compassionate community for both animals and people. I understand that this may require some effort and resources, but I believe it's a crucial step in upholding the values we cherish as a community. I am confident that by working together, we can ensure that our town is a place where animals are treated with respect and compassion. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments this evening from the public?
John Bartarik, Woodbridge over here. Well, you know, I told everybody I grew up on a farm. I know difference between a farm animal and domestic animal. But I think as you take it out, how it's done, proper way. People they think love something, but they don't know until they take care of it, they dislike it. I think any animal, whatever people get license on it, that gets license on it should be registered. In case that animal gets sick and dies or put away, it should be taken to like any farm animal. You gotta take it to veterinarian, doctor, and he would decide what was the cause of the animal death. It should be given to the people, to the township or any state, to know why that animal died from. Talk about abuse, died from abuse or disease. That's the way to not spread the disease to state, town, or country. Anybody that has a license on any animal, an animal is put away or dies, gotta go, why it died, why was it put down. That's most important. Nobody talked about it tonight. But again, talk about what kind of animals we got in this town. I never wasn't aware of, you might have cows or whatever it is, I hope not. It's very simple. Find out who supplies the feed for those animals, not just what we got over here in Woodbridge. A lot of this thing is delivered from out of the state, so you know what kind of a feed those animals get. So you know what they're feeding and what kind of animals they got. A lot of people might have some animals, they use it for, I should even say, a ritual, somebody want to call it. That's how you're going to find out. Definitely, animals are abused. We all know that, but again, because farmers know how to treat it, other people know, but that's the most important thing that I'm hearing everybody talk about tonight. So you can do this, you can control it, and you can assist it, because, you know, people do things that's to people, never mind to animals. But that is very important that you're going to tell when an animal dies, you got a license on it, you got to take it to a veterinarian, and he would examine it, why the animal died or was put down. Thank you. Again, we talk about a lot of stuff. If you look at it, Mayor said how good town we are. Yes, we are a good town because we are good people. We got good people over in this town. But if those people in other towns brag about how we help them, okay, we should help anybody. There's nothing wrong with it. Do we get any reimbursement? And how they help us? You just can say we send the fire department, we're gonna sell everything else to the other towns. You know, why they don't have what we have? They don't care for their people, or because they get it from us? So let's not be so willing to, emergency is emergency, but we talk about tax assessors, we talk about inspection to building departments, things like that. That's not emergencies. They can pay for their own. So we can get a better judge for our people in the town over here. And the mayor, last time, that's the reason I came tonight, on the 4th of this month, you said the average tax in Woodbridge Township went at $20. And we know, like myself, I got quite a few tax bills. We know it's not true. Are you just talking about municipal tax, or you going to talk about county tax, fire department tax, and the school?
1 minute, Mr. Vitar.
That's my question. Is people don't understand it? So, well, I look at my tax bill, it went a couple $100. How could be say it's $20? So people make it clear. Your tax might have only been $20, but county went up, and why the county went up? Why the school go up? Because all the stuff we got in this town. So school's got to charge more. Fire department's got to charge more. County's got to charge more because you get money from the county. So that's the thing. Let us know. I don't say you raise in taxes, but they need more money, and you got to raise the taxes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Council President,
Yes, Mr. Adams.
when I speak of taxes, I'm talking only about municipal taxes. I am not talking about the Board of Ed. I'm not talking about the county. I'm not talking about the fire district. I have no responsibility for their budgets or their tax rates. I have no accountability for their budgets or their tax rates. They're separate bodies. If you want to talk with the Board of Ed about their taxes, you need to go to a Board of Ed meeting or a county meeting or a fire district meeting. When I said that taxes went up an average of $20 over the last 3 years, you said that wasn't true. That's true. 3 years ago, we had a zero. 2 years ago, we had a zero. And last year, we had about a 50 and change. Divide 60 by 3, you get 20. That's the fact.
Not my taxes.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
Hi, I'm Peter Ortiz from Newark. Thank you. Mayor, I believe earlier you mentioned, and I'm paraphrasing here, that what you heard was happening at Sequest was troubling. If I'm not getting your exact words correct, apologize. And Council President, and I believe you expressed concern for the animals at Sequest, and again, paraphrasing, if there was something more you could do, you wish you could help those animals. There's a lot of great suggestions made tonight. I don't have anything to add. I would just ask that you take them into serious consideration. I think potential solutions, and just really consider the cost of doing nothing or not doing enough. Because one thing we do know is that more animals will die. It's at least 100 since 2019, and we do know more animals will die. So just think about that when you look at all the suggestions that you've heard tonight. Appreciate your time.
Thank you for the time.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
Greetings, everyone. Thank you for your time. My name is Steven. I grew up in Woodbridge Township. I've been a resident of New Jersey pretty much my whole life. I'm proud to be here. This is my first time speaking at a council meeting. My number one priority, I'm not going to ask you guys questions or make things complicated. I'm a really straightforward person. The thing that matters to me most is the suffering of innocent life. And I am appalled, actually, to be here tonight and seeing some of the responses from some people about the suffering of innocent life happening right here in Woodbridge. Right here in Woodbridge Mall, you have, in the shopping mall, you have, as you guys have said, to my knowledge, and I respect you people, I love you people, I understand you represent Woodbridge Township, and Woodbridge is a great township, but right here in Woodbridge Mall, you have the suffering of innocent life, and to my knowledge, we were just told you're responsible for pigs, chickens, and other domestic animals that you chief decision makers as Woodbridge Township is responsible for. I understand the exotic life we're not responsible for, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to either make decisions as chief decision makers that are going to support suffering or decrease the amount of suffering. And as the mayor said, with all respect, Mayor McCormick, I believe you just said recently that the police department launched an investigation. The police department launched an investigation. They didn't find anything. That blows my mind. You have an amazing police department. As you said, your town has helped other towns, and I think you were mentioning Hurricane Sandy, where you helped Sayreville from preventing it from flooding, but yet you guys can't find anything wrong? I mean, you go to Sequest, people, you're humans. You don't want to promote suffering. No one here wants to promote suffering. You have pigs confined in cages this big. They can't move. You have other animals as well that are trapped. They're not in livable conditions. That's the bottom line. We just had 2 kids, Mayor, come up here, and one of them was saying he was seeing fecal matter. He was smelling fecal matter. This is shocking, people. For Woodbridge Township, such a great township, and I know you guys are a great township. You guys are the chief decision makers. I pray to God, and I pray for this township and the innocent beings, that you make the right decisions as chief decision makers, because it is in your power to make the right decision to decrease suffering. And I understand permitting and regulations, try to say you might not have the power. The bottom line is, at the end of the day, the chief decision makers that are here tonight have the power and control the regulations in Woodbridge Township. At the end of the day, I'm not going to take full 5 minutes, because like I said, I'm short, simple, to the point. I hope the chief decision makers of Woodbridge Township will make the right decision to get this horrific place gone and out of Woodbridge. And hopefully you could replace it with something that wants to actually promote community and promote an education center or something positive, not a sick, evil thing that literally tortures animals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Jonathan Linneman, and I am from Hampton Borough. Originally, I am from South Georgia, and so I grew up around a lot of animals, petting zoos and state fairs, and I am, I guess the word would be, sympathetic to the idea that I think many people of my generation and older have, that is reasonable, because that's what I did, and I loved it. It's why I became a biologist, because I loved the animals so much. But things have changed in the decades since then, and we are able to recognize that there's more to well-being than an acknowledgement of the physical conditions of a place. I'm here specifically because my wife and I volunteer at Goats of Anarchy, which has a few of the goats that came from Sequest in a few years ago. I'm not sure the exact year that they came. Stella, Roxy, and Cora. Stella especially, one of the sweetest goats you will ever meet. Roxy and Cora, I think they're very sweet, but they don't want to interact with people that much. And so the idea that those goats were stuck in that place, forced to have children and adults come through, touching them against their will, there's a part of me that feels like coming up here and speaking, it's just annoying to all of you. And so maybe it doesn't even help the cause. But I couldn't not say something, because I know that there are other animals there right now that are going through what Roxy, Stella, and Cora went through a few years ago. And I think that you have more power than you realize to acknowledge that the well-being of animals comes down to more than a veterinarian saying things are okay. I mean, I'm Dr. Linneman. When people call me that, they think it gives me some sort of authority and understanding of things that I don't have. A vet was able to look at the physical conditions of the animals. Vets don't always have the greatest idea of what that means for the happiness of an animal. And this is a chance for the township to show the generations after mine that when you have animals, there is a right way to do it. And people have been here tonight with the sanctuaries that are doing it the right way. And I guess I just want to encourage you to let this be a continuing issue that you consider. The finality of the mayor's statement was kind of discouraging because it sort of felt like, well, the vet said it, so there's nothing we can do. But there's clearly a lot more to the story with all the animals that are not accounted for, the vet records that aren't accounted for. And I hope that you will continue to take seriously the fact that there are living beings there that are experiencing this every day while they're waiting on us to make a decision about their lives. That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi there. Thanks for taking the time to listen to us. My name is Laura and I'm from Hampton. And I too grew up most of my life in the South around farm animals. And I think one thing that struck me this evening is hearing how many people actually aren't from Woodbridge that are showing up to talk to y'all. This isn't just a Woodbridge issue. This is an issue of animal welfare. So I appreciate y'all taking the time, since most of us aren't from Woodbridge, to talk to us. Similar to Jonathan, I am a volunteer at Goats of Anarchy, and we care for Stella, Roxy, and Cora every week because they were released from Sequest. If it's okay to ask, I was wondering, when did Woodbridge have the authority over the farm animals? When did that start? Do you know what year?
I don't remember what's up in my head. No, I would think 2000 and...
Maybe when they opened, I don't know that it happened
Okay.
any time
I would
since.
think, not off the top of my head.
That's totally fine. So those 3 goats were under Woodbridge's purview that are now part of a sanctuary. And this wouldn't have been y'all, but Sequest promised they wouldn't bring in more farm animals because they saw the damage done to those 3 specifically. I am an animal welfare expert. I've been working in animal welfare since the 90s. I'm actually a veterinary technician also. I have very little knowledge about a lot of stuff in life, but I know animal welfare. And I do agree that, I believe, Mayor, your exact words were that the vet found no abuse. Do you know how abuse is defined in this instance? And, I'm sorry, do you know how abuse is defined in this report?
I've seen the report. The mayor, you've seen the report. The vet detailed his findings.
Okay.
That was that.
Is it public information? Are we able to access that report?
Yeah, sure. You absolutely.
Okay.
You can file an open request.
Cool, that's excellent. I really hope, like multiple people have said, that this is maybe a start of a conversation of how we can do better because we know better. I've been in animal welfare for almost 30 years, and I know what we used to do isn't what we still do now, and animals need access to the 5 freedoms. Freedom from hunger, freedom from thirst, freedom to express their natural behaviors, and freedom to not be under stress and duress. These animals don't have that. Those are basic animal welfare rights. I've worked for organizations like the ASPCA and for Best Friends Animal Sanctuary, which are national animal welfare organizations. We have the ability to do better, and I hope you guys entertain the discussion so we can talk about how we get there. Whatever that result is, I hope we can continue to take baby steps to do better for these animals, and especially because you guys have that access to the farm animal control. So thank you for letting me speak this evening, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the public?
Hi, my name is Anna Krasowska from Perth Amboy, and I hate public speaking, so bear with me. My heart's gonna jump out. The thing I hate about Sequest is that the animals, they don't have grass under their feet, they don't have sunlight, they don't, like, their picture of outside is painted on a cement wall. And then thinking about circadian rhythms, I just Googled because I thought it was just my opinion, but Google thinks that pigs can be affected by bright light, or they can get sick from like disruptions in their circadian rhythms. So I would like for the farm animals to go to sanctuaries because it makes me sad to see them locked up in there. And that's it.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments from the public this evening? Your own question.
My name is Avinash and I live in Edison. And I have a contact. I have been to the Woodbridge Mall since 1982 when I came over here and found my first job in the mall. And I have been protesting against this sequest even before it came down with an animal activist group led by PETA, and still it came into existence. I have visited it 3 times, and it is, first before the COVID and twice after the COVID. And I have seen that the place is just going down, and it is so shabby. Last time I went, I took my 3-year-old granddaughter with me, and she wanted to be out within 5 minutes. It was absolutely smelly and dirty. And no matter what any vet says, the animals are not happy there. I mean, you can put an animal for its whole lifetime in concrete enclosures with artificial light like this, and in like hundreds of times less space than it is used to. Like birds can fly thousands of feet high in the sky, and here it's limited to like 10 feet of ceiling or 9 feet of ceiling height. That is animal cruelty and a lack of animal welfare. You don't need to get a vet to tell you that, oh, animals are fine or they're not suffering from animal welfare. It is a total and oblivious, blatant animal welfare breach, and that's what needs to be corrected. We all say that, oh, we love animals, but we go home and we eat chicken and fish without any thought. So most of us don't even know what animal welfare is or any love for animal is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the public this evening?
Good evening. My name is Edward from Newark, New Jersey. I will start off with a quote from Lauren Hagen, Director of Captive Wildlife for the Humane Society. Abusing animals is a failing business model. So I'm going to read an excerpt from what happened over in the state of Texas in regards to sequest. In August 2024, Tarrant County staff found no issues with the Fort Worth Aquarium at Ridgemar Mall after PETA had alleged abuse and neglect based on claims from 3 former employees. The aquarium's former CEO, Vince Covino, stepped down that very same month. But the Ridgemar Mall location for sequest closed on October 28th, just over 2 months after that complaint and weeks after the Humane Society's investigation had ended. In a statement, PETA called on sequest to close the rest of its locations and give the animals up to reputable, financially responsible facilities. And by that, only an animal sanctuary would fit the bill on reputable, financially responsible facilities. And to start closing it down, sequest's financial failure offers yet more proof that animal exploitation is a losing business model, as compassionate consumers don't want to fork over their dollars to look at fish, otters, and birds suffering in cramped, filthy enclosures and forced into stressful public encounters, the statement read. So I just want you to just pose a question to you all. You don't have to answer or say anything. Imagine if you read an article about the Woodbridge sequest location. I'm sure you would probably be appalled, just as what I'm reading to you now from a different state. And I will close this off with another quote from Laura Hagen, the Director of Captive Wildlife for Humane Society. Sequest and other businesses just like it must close the doors on all of their little shops of horrors for good. Within your jurisdiction, please do not allow the appeal to go through for Sequest.
So we don't have anything to do with the appeal, sorry.
Hmm?
We don't have, the township has nothing to do with the Sequest appeal, just to make sure we're all on the same page.
All right, but do what you can to make sure they don't do business again here in Woodbridge. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public?
Hi, my name is Anna. I'm from Belleville, New Jersey. I believe that the treatment of the animals at Sequest being very poor is very clear. I understand that an inspector went and saw them there and I guess declared it was fine. But even on TripAdvisor, they're no longer selling tickets because on their own website they state that it does not meet animal welfare guidelines, so they can't in good conscience continue to sell tickets to this place. I mean, there's hundreds of negative reviews and pictures across Yelp, TripAdvisor, and also Google. I find it really shocking the fact that an inspector who's an expert in animal welfare and a veterinarian will be able to go and see no problems. So I guess I have a question. Would you accept any sort of report from another veterinarian or animal expert that went there, or does it need to be commissioned by the town specifically?
Well, the township is the one that reached out to the independent veterinarian. We did our due diligence of what people in the audience has asked of us, and we sent the independent vet. They did their investigation, and the mayor reported it tonight.
I guess I heard that. I'm just wondering, would you accept if, say, veterinarians from around the state were to go, accredited veterinarians, and make reports and submit them to you guys, say, hey, look, we're not affiliated with Sequest, we're not affiliated, and we see problems here? Or does it have to be
Well, I'll answer.
you guys?
I'll answer it, but the person we sent wasn't an accredited licensed veterinarian. You said if you would send an accredited one. We sent a licensed vet. If anybody ever goes there, like we mentioned before, if anybody goes there and sees any issues, complaints, concerns, we've already said numerous times on how to reach out to the proper entity in the township, and that matter will be investigated.
I'm just saying, like a second, third, fourth opinion, would that?
You can, if you want to have a vet go and give us a second, a third, and fourth opinion, we'll be more than happy to take a look at it, especially if there are concerns that we will forward off to the health department.
Okay, you would take that into consideration? I didn't know if it had to be the town themselves have to find the vet and send them there.
I'm sorry, say that last question again?
I wasn't sure if it had to be the town themselves has to get third party but vet and send them there, or if you, the council, would accept evidence from accredited vets.
The council will take any report given to us by the mayor administration of any issues forwarded off to the township or the health department.
Okay, how could I submit that then?
You
Like,
can
what-
either
do I
contact the
need
health
to bring it
department
to a
or the
meeting,
mayor's
or-
office.
Wait, I'm sorry?
You can either contact the health department or the mayor's office.
But like if I have a veterinarian like go and take their own report, do I bring it like to a meeting here or email? Do I have to have them come? Like,
Yeah, Council President, we would take that report and then we would send our independent vet back out to confirm that report.
would it be a different vet than the one that came
Well,
last time?
you're asking us to do the same thing. You're asking us that you don't believe the independent vet that we sent out, so you want to send out your own vet. So we would send our vet back out to confirm his or her concerns,
The same vet you sent previously, or a different
which
one?
is an independent vet that we hired.
But it would be the same one, or one from the
I
same
don't know.
agency?
I can't answer that if they're available.
Okay.
We would find another vet or that vet.
Would you be able to?
1 minute, I'm sorry, 1 minute.
Okay. Would you be able to request another vet than the one that already went to go? Or is it just a general?
No,
We've
no,
already done this.
We sent an independent vet out. They did their research. They did their investigation. They gave us a report. The report was relayed this evening.
But you wouldn't be able to request a different vet for a second?
We're not
visit?
requesting another vet at this time. As Mr. Simaluka answered you, by all means, if you have something that you'd like to forward us, by all means, forward it. The proper entities will take a look at it, and we would send somebody back out if it was warranted.
Okay, you said the best way is through email or mail?
You can
or like-
contact the mayor's office, email, whatever's easiest for you, yes.
Okay, got it.
All right, thank you.
Any other comments from the public?
Nicholas Huss, Somerset, New Jersey. I just want to apologize to Mayor and Council. I came a little out of pocket earlier on. I think it was somebody had finished speaking and I had said something 2022. Okay. So apologies for that. The reason why I'm up here today is because I had to check in the Oprah forms, check our receipts to see what is what. And it turns out that it was NJ Fish and Wildlife that brought the cockroach infestation to the limelight back in August of 2022. So they came to check on the sloth, and they found the cockroach infestation. And on the report, it specifically says that the sloth was forced to move due to the infestation. So I have the reports for that. I'll be emailing that to you, Council at Large, later on today. And a few speakers ago, the woman sitting next to me, right over here, had mentioned something along the lines of Sequest running out of money. So Sequest, the S corporation that is now in charge of 4 aquariums here nationwide, has openly admitted to the bankruptcy judge in Idaho on January 31st that they only have 2 weeks left of funding, right? 2 weeks, that's it. We know how expensive animals cost. If you think dogs and cats cost a lot of money, just imagine how much farm animals cost. My wife and I have donated here to Ryan, our Uncle Neil's home, for one surgery for one cow, just one surgery here that is lower on the spectrum, $30,000. So just imagine the cost of how much a farm animal would be when it comes to a goat, when it comes to a pig. You're talking, tens of thousands of dollars accumulating to hundreds of thousands of dollars when you have a multitude of animals. So my concern is, are we really just going to wait and just sit there for something to go wrong with these animals when Sequest is openly admitting that they only have 2 weeks left of funding? And that funding is gone. It's gone right now. They said that in the 31st. Where are we looking? 18th. We're over that 2-week mark period. I don't want to sit back and have her veterinarian go in, your veterinarian go in, and be like, oh, something happened to the pig. Oh, something happened to the goat. Something happened to the chicken. Like, why do we have to wait for shit to get so, pardon my language, but why do we have to wait for things to get so bad here to the point to where, okay, an animal dies, multiple animal dies, that we got to do something then? Like, why can't we do something now? We are presented with the facts of Vince Covino and his brother Amon, who structured Sequest, 2 felons. Later on after me, somebody's going to give you the background, the briefing of what Sequest is founded on. Extortion, illegality. It's absolutely horrific. There is nothing transparent with this group here. But I'm saying, why do we have to wait so long? Why do the consequences need to be so goddamn severe to the point to where animals have to die for justice to take place? Why? Tell me why. Like, we just saw it, right? Sequest, Minnesota just dumped yesterday. Gone. They're done. They're done. Sequest Woodbridge is like right around the corner. Defending something like this, there's no honor. There's no integrity. There's no strength. There's no nothing behind it. So just tell me why. Why do we have to wait for shit to get so bad?
That's 3 times now.
Let's go. I'm done. Tell me why.
Is that your question?
Yes.
What would you like us to do? Would you like us to just all march down there right now, pound on the doors, say, you're taking all the animals because that's what we're going to do, and it's 1,800. That's what we're going to do? That's the answer to your question. It's not possible. We reiterated it over and over and over again. I'm not going to sit here and bore everybody with myself repeating what I said earlier. There's not one person in this council room right now would not like to see those animals somebody else. So you got to come up here and you start raising your voice a little bit, using profanity and demanding me to answer you. I just answered you. For about the 10th time, we do not have the authority, especially after the independent vet went in yesterday, to say you're closed. It has nothing to do with what happens in Oregon, Pawtucket, Trumbull, or whatever else. We're talking about Sequest of Woodbridge. Right now, Sequest of Woodbridge is open. Good, wrong, or indifferent. I always say, I will get you the answer. You might not like the answer, but I'm going to get you the answer. You asked 3 times, I've just answered you. That's your answer.
Mayor, how many,
Council President, the mayor's
I'm sorry, Council President and Mayor, this is a question for both of you. How many complaints since 2019 has Sequest have lodged against Sequest? How many complaints?
You can file an open request on that. I don't have that on top of my head.
3,500.
Thank you. Your time's up. Have a good day.
3,500.
Are there any other comments from the public?
Hi, my name is Dawn Gibson from Manville. I just want to say that a lot of my fellow activists have covered many of the points, so I thank them for doing such a great job. My first question is, can you confirm the date that the township just signed off on the permit for the farmed animals?
I don't have that at the top of my head. You can.
David, when did we sign off on it? Sometime in January. In January.
January of this year.
Okay, thank you. And my next question is, has anyone on the council or the mayor been to Sequest ever?
I'm not going to speak for any of my fellow councilmates or the mayor.
Raise your hand if you've been to Sequest.
I'm sorry, this is the 4th time somebody did a please raise your hand. We've all been through school. We're not doing a raise your hand. I'm only going to speak for myself because I'm the council president. I preside over this meeting. I've been there once in 2019, I believe.
Can anyone else speak to my question and say whether they've been to Sequest and seen the conditions under which these animals live?
Go ahead.
Okay. So you're signing off on permits. I'm asking, what are the requirements for signing off on a permit?
Council President, the council body does not sign off on the permits. The Director of Health signs off on the permits, who does the inspections, and well, his inspectors do the inspections.
So what are the requirements for the Department of Health to sign off on the permit?
So we just did it yesterday. They looked at they used an independent vet because of the concerns of this group to look at the vet, to look at the animals, and the vet found them to be sound.
So prior to this group bringing up our concerns, were there any requirements, or you just signed off on the permits?
Yep, they reviewed the in-house veterinarian, which is on staff there.
But you said you don't have records, so what are you looking at when you're...
We don't have records. They view them on site.
They view the animals on site?
No, they view the records on site.
Okay, so who has the records?
Sequest and their veterinarian.
So you could get the records if you wanted them?
Yeah, we could ask Sequest for the records. I don't know if they have them, but we can ask them. I don't know if they keep them. They have no legal right to keep them year over year that I'm aware of. We have no law for them to keep the records.
But in the year that you're signing off on the permit, you would be seeing the records that they should have, correct?
For that current year.
Okay. I would think that Woodbridge Township would not be signing off on a farmed animal permit if the conditions of the Sequest facilities are unfit and unsanitary. So what exactly does Woodbridge Township consider unfit conditions?
Council President, I think we already said that they were looked at yesterday by an independent vet, and the vet signed off that they were healthy, except for dermatitis on one of the pigs, and I don't know the pig's name.
Okay, so since 2019, as many of us have mentioned, more than 100 animals have died at Sequest. So how would that be fit and sanitary conditions if more than 100 animals have died?
I'm not, I can ask the health director, but I'm not aware of any.
Well, 100 animals may have died, but that doesn't mean the 100 animals are under our jurisdiction.
Right, but you don't know exactly how many animals have died under your jurisdiction.
Well, we're
not our-
going to say it again. We only are responsible for the farm animals that are there, Fish, Game, and Wildlife, and the Department of Agriculture is the other groups that are responsible for the other
1 minute.
animals. USDA, thank you, USDA.
I understand that you're saying you're only responsible for farmed animals, but you still don't know how many animals, farmed animals, have died since 2019 under your watch or on your watch?
I don't have those records.
Okay, so as several people on the council and the mayor have said, Woodbridge is the best of the best.
It'd be
I
the
would-
best town around. Nobody said the best of the best.
You got it. Best town around, whatever you want to say. But I would question if you can claim to be the best town around if more than 100 animals, regardless of their classification, have died since 2019 in your town. As you probably know, activists are out there protesting every 2 weeks. I personally would never go to Woodbridge Mall ever if Sequest is still there. I have talked to many, probably close to 50 people, residents of Woodbridge Township, who have said exactly the same. They've gone in, they've been disgusted, and they will not return. Not only is it the best and right thing to do, it's best for your township economically.
Are there any other comments from the public this evening?
Hello, I'm Cole Rosenthal. I'm from Englewood Cliffs. Thank you for giving us the space to speak tonight. I just want to reiterate and bring to people's minds, perhaps refresh some people's memory of really how horrible of a person the former CEO of Sequest is, because these are the values that this company was built on. So for most of Sequest's existence, Vince Covino has been the CEO and the face of Sequest. With a simple Google search, all thanks to the report done by the ABC Channel News investigation over the past few years, all this information comes up very clearly. Vince and his brother Aman have been illegally trafficking animals for their aquariums since Sequest first started. Their whole business model is surrounded around illegal smuggling of wildlife. Aman Covino has been convicted in federal court for illegal wildlife trafficking, and he has seen prison time for this on 3 different occasions. The company claims that he is not involved and has never been involved with Sequest, and yet the U.S. Department of Justice found that in 2016 he had visited Sequest locations on several times to consult on aquariums. So it's pretty clear that these 2 brothers were working together. Aman was kind of taking the fall for all of this, and Vince was keeping his name clear because he was the face of the company. Illegal wildlife trafficking is no joke. It's pretty brutal. These guys would go to other countries. They would capture animals, violating any animal or environmental protection acts, shove them into crates, keep them just barely alive, enough to bring them back into the U.S. and bring them to these facilities. Hundreds of animals, as has been said by other speakers, have died due to neglect in several of these facilities. So I can only imagine how many unaccounted animals died under this illegal smuggling transport. This is not your average aquarium. This is Sequest. It is the home of illegal wildlife trafficking felony owners who do terrible things to animals. That is its reputation, and this reflects very poorly on the town of Woodbridge. It's blood money that's really fueling this company, and it's pretty baffling to me that all of this information is very widely accessible on the internet, and yet Sequest is still operating. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public this evening? There are no other comment. Can I get a motion that the public comment portion be closed?
Motion. Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll go into the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mitch. We'll now move to the agenda portion. Item number 7, Route 1 Development. With the closing of its doors Sunday night, the Avenel Adult Variety Center is officially and permanently closed. In accordance with the details of the Township's Route 1 redevelopment plan, ownership will be removing the signage from the building over the next several weeks. The building will then be demolished within 6 months. This property, along with several others along Route 1, have been identified as areas in need of redevelopment. This is only one step that has been happening and will continue to happen to redevelop blight and unfavorable projects along Route 1 and Avenel. I just want to thank the mayor, Carol, the administration. This goes all the way back to Mr. Mitchell when you were councilman. This is one of the properties that has been recognized that needed to be redeveloped. So I want to thank everybody involved. Item number 9, Avenel Fire Department. I just want to congratulate Fire Commissioners Mr. Mitch and Fire Commissioner Bruce Mizak on a well-deserved victory on Saturday night, and thank all the voters that came out and supported the Board of Fire Commissioners' well-balanced and structured budget. The rest of my agenda is in order. God bless America. Council Vice President McCall.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order. I have no comments this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Vice President. Councilman Anderson.
Thank you. I have just 2 comments. One, we have the Black History Month coming up this weekend, the celebration coming up on Sunday. Doors open at 2 p.m. And it goes from 3 o'clock to 5. This will be at the Acacia Center at 995 Port Reading Avenue. And we have to thank the Independent Club of Colonia for sponsoring this event. Also, I would like to congratulate the Colonia basketball team, boys basketball team that is, on winning their division. They also upset the number 7 team in the nation in a classic, in the Metro Classic. And Colonia boys and the Woodbridge boys will be preparing for the state playoffs, and Colonia is in the semifinals tomorrow versus St. Thomas. That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Anderson. Councilman Ficarra.
I'll pass, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Bauer.
Agenda's order, no comments tonight. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Councilwoman De Jesus. Councilman Smalls, excuse.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is in order, no comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman De Jesus. Councilwoman Meehan.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda is also in order.
Thank you, Councilwoman Meehan. Councilman Patel is excused. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I got everybody. Mr. Mitch.
My agenda is in order. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now go off to Mayor. Any comments?
Oh, good, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Shimaluka.
Thank you, Council President. I got a couple of items, and I'll also be taking the police departments tonight. I got tax and sewer overpayments, and I got a 100% disabled vet under the police department. I have a traffic ordinance amendment. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, sir. Director Doran.
Thank you, Council President. Nothing this evening.
Thank you, Director Brew.
Thank you, Council President. My agenda's in order, nothing this evening.
Councilor Plonka. I look for I'm sorry, Lee.
Nothing this evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Look for a motion to adjourn. I'm sorry, Mr. Mitch, we're going to
Sorry,
executive
we're
session.
going to go into executive session. I'll read a resolution. The public at this time is going to have to exit the room. Under Resolution Number 31, where Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Laws of 1975, permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. Be it resolved that this public body is going to go into the executive session to discuss collective bargaining unit negotiations. Will be about 20 minutes. So at this point, can I get a motion to move the resolution?
Motion.
I get a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. At this time, I'll ask the public to please exit the room. Okay, council, we are back in session at 8:14 p.m. You have a resolution before you, which I'm going to number as number 32, and this is to, approve a collective bargaining unit agreement with Local 1426-02, as discussed in executive session. Can I get a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. That's all.
Thank you. I look for a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion.
Meeting adjourned. Have a good night. Thank you.